Are you ready to deliver Arizona from Joe Biden?
We're in Phoenix, Arizona right now, and we're inside of the Biden-Harris caravan. One of the reasons why Democrats are here right now is because they see an opportunity that they haven't seen in a long time. Right, the last time that a Democratic presidential nominee won the state of Arizona was in 1996. But polls are indicating that Joe Biden actually has a pretty big lead in this state. One of the things that's changing the dynamics is the growing Latino population.
You do not use us. You do not abuse us. You do not separate us. We will get you. And we will get you at the polls, and we're going to get you out.
Arizona, once synonymous with the Grand Canyon, is now known for President Trump's border wall and politicians like former Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Maricopa is the largest county in the state, and it's 31% Latino. During Arpaio's reign, he championed SB 1070, known as the Show Your Papers law, that gave cops the power to racially profile, to stop anyone they even suspected of being undocumented, and to hold detainees in what Arpaio called his concentration camp. Reina Montoya and Jose Patino are both Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival recipients who grew up in Maricopa.
Now, it's been exactly 10 years since the state passed SB 1070. How old were you guys when that happened?
I was 21.
I was 19.
What was that like?
Yeah, I always knew that you're undocumented, and I'd been pulled over before by cops and asked, but it felt different because there was this fear that everybody had in the community.
Could you live freely?
I mean, not really, but we were very cautious. And I think that when SB 1070 happened, the fear was so palpable.
The U.S. Supreme Court struck down parts of the law in 2012, but the Show Me Your Papers provision is still in effect. And for the more than 25,000 dreamers who live in the state, this reality fosters uncertainty and fear.
Pieces of legislation like SB 1070 are designed to keep people like yourselves in the shadows. Like, why are you speaking up today, with days before the election?
Because it's painful to be in the shadows. It's painful. You think less of yourself. You don't think you're equal to your peers. So for me, it was like, enough is enough. I'm gonna go and tell it, and hopefully it changes. I felt like so much lighter. I didn't carry this burden, and my anger started to go away.
How did SB 1070 and living in such an anti-immigrant environment, how has that affected your advocacy?
It's this understanding about the power of stories, and when you get to talk to people and like coming out of the shadows and letting them know like, this is my truth. And people, it's so hard to demonize one person. It's so much easier to demonize like classes of people.
Montoya founded a local nonprofit in 2016, focused on helping undocumented families with everything from scholarships to leadership trainings. Patino works there too. The work is deeply personal for Montoya. She's a dreamer. Her sister's a U.S. citizen, her father's in the process of getting a green card, and her mother is still undocumented.
¿Son ustedes?
Sí.
Wow.
When they were dating.
¿Was esto en México?
Sí.
Wow. ¿Qué sueños tenían ustedes para sus hijos?
Darles pues las carencias que teníamos nosotros, ¿verdad? Entonces que no les faltara nada, ¿verdad? Entonces más que nada ese era el sueño, que nunca les faltara nada, que se prepararan.
Cuando yo les digo SB 1070, ¿qué les viene a la mente?
A mí lo primero que yo recuerdo es manejando y sentir que un policía está detrás de mí o a un lado y sentirme nerviosa y estresada y mis manos sudorosas y con mis hijos más chicos llevarlos a la escuela y dejarlos a la escuela y que, por ejemplo, me tocó con mi hijo Mario que tuviera el pendiente de que quizás mi mamá no pueda venir por mí a recogerme después, porque la pueda parar una patrulla y eso es suficiente para preguntarle su estatus y que la deporten.
Los últimos 4 años bajo la presidencia de Donald Trump, ¿cómo les ha impactado su vida?
Pienso que el racismo se incrementó más. En las casas, los cartelones y las señales de odio que hay para los inmigrantes.
¿Lo veían?
Se miraba, ajá.
Ahora mismo toda la atención está en el voto latino aquí en Arizona, ¿no? ¿Creen que va a ser un voto decisivo?
Pienso que es más de lo mismo, desgraciadamente. Entonces Obama, ¿qué es lo que hizo? También deportó a mucha gente, no le han dado una solución a los latinos. Nos han agarrado como un juego político nomás. No ha habido ningún partido que tome acción realmente y que quiera legalizar a todas las personas.
But this feeling of being used as a political pawn could change as Latinos push the electorate to the left.
Traditionally, what makes Arizona such a strong Republican state?
I think what has made the state a Republican state over time is a deep commitment to Republican values that many people in Arizona think they've made it on their own. I think there is also the fact that the white population here has been worried about the influx of minorities and how that will change whether the whites continue to be in control. And they have tended to flock towards the Republican Party as a result because they see their interests are best served by voting for the GOP.
How have Latinos changed Arizona's electorate?
I think Latinos, by and large, have slowly changed Arizona voting patterns in a more liberal, more democratic direction. I think this is in part because more Latinx voters understand that they must vote in order to achieve the change they want to see.
In the last 2 years alone, approximately 100,000 Latinos turned 18 and are eligible to vote in Maricopa. But not all of them will vote for Democrats. Trump is making inroads with young Latino men.
They told me that Trump was going to lose by 4, and I told them Trump's going to win by 7.
Sergio Arellano is one of them, and he's a member of the Latinos for Trump Advisory Board. He has faith that Trump's message still resonates here.
The president has given us the tools to come out and be proud of being Republican, and also his policies, which have made a big difference in the life of Latinos in general.
How so?
Good example would be jobs and the economy. It's something that's on the top list for Latinos. We, by culture, are entrepreneur-driven. We want to have our own business. We want to achieve the American dream. And with a lot of the business-friendly policies of the president, you're looking at tax cuts. You're looking at the ability for opportunity zones in areas that have been neglected in the past.
One of the things we've been noticing in Arizona is that immigration is personal. When you look at President Trump and you see that he's aligned himself with someone like Joe Arpaio would racially profile people that look exactly like you. And so some Latinos would look at you and say, why would you support that? What would be your response to that?
But President Trump isn't Joe Arpaio.
He pardoned him, right? And he's one of his biggest supporters. So
sure, and other presidents have pardoned criminals and murderers and a lot of felons. I just don't understand how you're trying to fit racial profiling with Donald Trump. Like, it's not there.
How is it not there?
It's not there. Look at his policies.
I mean, I'm just, again, we're in Arizona. Joe Arpaio is a big profile for the president. Immigration has been the backbone of the president's campaign. So it's a pretty simple question.
I just don't see the association based off my encounter with the president.
Got it. Okay.
I've met the guy 5 times.
Yeah.
I would say go out and meet the president for yourselves if you're trying to make up your mind.
It's true that the Trump campaign is all over the state. The week we were there, Donald Trump Jr. was stumping in the Phoenix suburbs.
So I got totally yelled at.
So we were following Sergio to this Trump event with Don Jr., but suddenly he received a call from what we believe were some of the higher-ups in the Trump campaign, and they asked him to leave, and they also asked him to stop his participation with Vice News. And so we left the premises with him.
We reached out to the Trump campaign for comment and have not received a response yet. Arellano says that Republicans are reaching out directly to Latino voters, but so are Democrats. State Representative Raquel Terán is Arizona-born and Mexico-raised.
¿No me dejaría poner un letrero aquí?
She's also a Biden campaign surrogate.
How has Joe Biden's campaign organized around Latinos this cycle?
The best thing that they've done is invest in Spanish language media.
Okay.
I think they've had a good team that has engaged the Latino community.
What is the biggest misconception we all have about the Latino vote?
I think that the misconception is that we don't come out to vote. When we've seen gradual increase, we've seen the changes in front of our eyes in a decade. Look at the fact that we were able to recall Russell Pierce, the author of SB 1070, the fact that we took out Arpaio in 2016. So for me, it's always troubling. It's like, why don't Latinos come out to vote? We are coming out to vote, and we will be out in big numbers this election.
Over 4 million Latinos nationwide have voted early this cycle. That's way higher than 4 years ago. But who this bloc votes for could mean everything for families like the Montoyas and the Patinos.
I'm hopeful, but at the same time, it's nerve-wracking. And if I can be very honest with you, I don't know what the outcome of the election is gonna be. I don't know what's gonna look like, and I'm really worried that people are gonna put once again all their faith in a one event time. And the reality is that there's so much work to do after the election, no matter what the outcome is for immigrants and for Latinos.